Hello, welcome to a brand new session of Freewheeling Fridays. I am Karthik Pulapaka, a partner and co-founder at Java Capital, and I have with me, long behold, Bhargavi. Hi,
Oh,
Bhargavi.
this is how you start the session. I don't know. The first time I think I'm joining. Hi everyone. Good evening. Nice to meet you sharp at 6 o'clock for a change. I think it's because we have very exciting guests today in our session, so that's why I.
Yeah. Do you have any idea when the guests will join us?
Maybe in another 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay, cool, nice. I think that gives us enough time to talk a little bit about who they are and what sort of things are they doing and why we are so excited about this.
Great, yes. But before that, Vinod, congratulations. I think we had another announcement today, totally unexpected. So,
Mm-mm-mm.
and it was a deal which Vinod led for Java Capital. So, congratulations for that.
I think congrats to all of us. I think, and that's just gone. I think I saw some of the tweets and messages being posted. Somebody's telling this is the kind of stuff we'd want to share on out of India. We've not done this before, and that's like
Yeah,
super.
yeah. I
You
did
know,
see a couple of messages.
yeah, I think that's what's exciting. And that's the same spirit I think with which that we did in some sense. Wanting to see more innovation breakthrough from India, and that's ePlane. I think for the larger audience, uh, we've invested in ePlanes, which is building flying taxis. We're not getting flying cars; we're getting flying taxis. I think the world has been thinking when will we get right. Hopefully, this next 4 5 years, hopefully, looks like very likely that we'll have flying taxis. And I think we are excited, to partner with the bunch of investors again, and with especially, just shout out, especially, Vishesh and Arjun, great folks to work with. Again,
Yeah.
first check Kushal again, amazing tweet, that he's put that's just gone crazy viral, and. And Kushal again, there's a second deal for us with Kushal with First Check. I think that's something that we should do. We've done one with Kushal earlier called CustomFit.ai, and there's a second one along with Kushal. And I think it just shows how open the ecosystem and investors are, and how we are also more than willing to work with all investors in the ecosystem. And last shout out is to CIE, Chintan and his team. I've known them for some time, and being part of them after a long time, we get to work with some of these people whom you know for a long time. Yeah, and Bhavik says, congrats, thanks, Bhavik. Look forward to some spicy deals with you also in the future, man. Just watch out.
Underscore spicy, huh?
Uh, yeah, underscore spicy. We should do some deals. I think.
Yeah.
I think the strange thing, people
We have
who
something for you, Bhavik. We'll be in touch with you shortly. Actually, we've been thinking about you just recently.
yeah, no, this reminds me of one other thing, Karthik and Bhargavi, right? I think people whom we know very well now, we kind of, underrate, right? And people whom we don't know, right? We see them from far, right? We
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
overrating. And that kind of, is a very interesting tweet that somebody had put out yesterday, and that stayed with me, right? With all the people that we've been interacting so closely over the years, right? We should start doing a lot more. I feel, consciously, that's my thought also. And good that Bhavik got that message out of me. Thanks, Bhavik.
Yeah. Before we move on, Karthik, do you also face difficulty in seeing Vinod, or is it just me?
Yeah, I did too. I think it's
Bad
it's
internet
a
at his end.
bad
Okay.
internet on his end. Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
just
Now it's fine, I
checking.
think.
Is it better, guys?
It's
yeah.
better.
Now it's better. Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, maybe time to buy those jazzy social influencer lights and stuff like that, Karthik.
Yeah, right. Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, yeah. So
So, Vinod, let me quickly ask you about how e-planes actually happened, right? Were we I mean, obviously, I know the answer to that, but help the audience understand why deep tech, why at this stage, why this particular company.
So I think let's try and bring the ePlane founders next week, right? As okay, maybe not surprise guest. Okay, it's gone now. So maybe next Friday we'll bring the founders. We'll talk more about the company itself. But why technology or deep technology is of great interest, right? I think it. I when I quit my first job, right, doing coding, I love technology. It's just that I didn't love coding. Maybe I didn't want to do that on a ongoing basis. And I love technology.
Because you didn't have coding girl at that time.
Yeah, maybe coding girl couldn't have taught me by then. Anyway, maybe coding will teach us better, Bhargavi. I'll give it to you, okay? So that technology, right, remains close to heart, and ability to change people's lives, right, with technology always, I'm a strong believer in that, and that's kind of played out over the years, and especially when you want to invest in companies where there's like a fundamental breakthrough or a change, right, which has a massive impact on not just like any particular sphere of one part of life, right? It's a significant part. For example, look at the second order effects of a company like what will happen with ePlane, right? I don't need to live in the middle of Bangalore, right? I can live in Nelmangla, I can live in Tumkur, and I can fly into MG Road's Starbucks in like 10 minutes if I want to, isn't it? And I can do my meeting if I want to there and then move out, right? And I think that is where I see, it is a challenge for India's overcrowding of cities. And and I follow this person called Samir who does agriculture. He writes about the 6 dots problem in India. The 6 dots problem is basically Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, 6 cities where all the action is, right. In a sense, it's getting so crowded, no resources. We are already seeing those issues now in COVID. Luckily we're not going out. We're not even complaining about traffic in Bangalore. Imagine, right? And I'm not complaining. I'm like living a nice, fun life at home. Looks like, and I'm like super happy, frankly speaking, that way. But I also miss, meeting people. So imagine something like ePlane. I can fly in from Nelmangla. Let's assume I live in a nice, fancy farmhouse in Nelmangla. I'm just saying, it's like 60, 70 kilometers from Bangalore. I just come to MG Road in 10 minutes, have my coffee shop meeting and then head back home. Yeah. I mean, imagine that kind of a life, right? And that's the kind of change a company like ePlane can bring, not just to India, to the world. And Bhargavi, it's okay, people understand, so I think that's the kind of change, Karthik, fundamental, change that this can bring, second order changes that can bring. And personally, I'm interested in more deep tech companies, and we have more to do in the future. Yeah, a lot of stuff to do. Yeah.
So Vinod, I think I just pulled out the tweet that you're talking about just a little bit earlier, right? And we also have few people joining us online right now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type in the comments section. We'll get to the questions one by one. But we are just announcing our new investment in a company called the ePlane company, and Vinod is explaining the rationale behind it.
Yeah. And it is one of those companies, right? There's so many people cheering from the sidelines already. From what I see, right? I think I mean I'm just believe that's like a validation of a lot of beliefs that we put in the company and the founders, right? Again, phenomenal founders. Professor Satya and Pranjal, right? If you look at the handle of Pranjal, it's called the Flying Taxi Man or something like that. If you see, so I think those are like obsession to something like this for the larger good, right? Is what makes an investment like this super exciting, frankly, for me. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, guys, the next cue for you guys, if you will, is look who made an appearance today.
I'm sure if Vinod was he would have recognized it, Karthik. There are very few, and actually we coined the term even before it became
sort of notorious.
Have you taken it off YouTube because I didn't want another Legal.
No. I mean, we used it first. Bhargavi, we've heard of trademark rights and copyright law. We used it first.
I don't want any trademark.
No, no, we can take it. Take it, guys. Take it. So the notorious white hat made a reappearance today because of the announcement that we made this week, if you will. Bhargavi, we've been teasing our audience for God knows how long, man. Almost a month now.
I know.
3 months, Karthik. Not
3
2
months.
months.
Oh,
3 months. Yeah.
Yikes. So finally, the wait is over, and we made the announcement this Monday. Um, a great company. I think we sort of broke the news over to our angel course, participants last
Ahead of
week,
the
right?
world.
Ahead of the world. Yeah. So these are some of the perks that you guys get, if you are part of the angel investors course, right? I'm going to shamelessly
Great
sell our
instant,
angel
Karthik.
investor course. See, we're getting better at this, right? Let me just ask you, Bhargavi, like, why coding girl?
Yeah, I think this question is never going to stop
Right.
till somebody else comes and takes this place.
Yeah. I mean, Karthik is wearing that hat, and you go ahead and still do this, Bhargavi. Why?
Yeah, so I think I keep telling this, and I think we will repeat once again. I have been tracking this space, and even before meeting Coding Girl, and basis my research, and this is all 5 6 months back, right? So I was researching even before that, and I felt there is a real gap in the market, not only in the Indian market but also globally, for somebody to make this as an organized play for kids of age group 7 plus, and have very high quality delivery. So because even compared to global players, I felt there is a great advantage making it into a digital play from anywhere in the world. That was the market thesis, and coming to why coding. Frankly, I think White Hat has done a good job of creating that FOMO or educating parents and all that. I think that way I saw that there is probably more awareness which is created amongst parents, and it also made sense as a next logical progression for kids, because I frankly don't see coding as just training kids to put lines of codes, right? I think it's more to do with logical thinking, problem solving, and how do you also probably creating some sort of structure in the thinking process. So I thought that is probably a fun way to inculcate all these skills in kids. So that way I had a belief, and we came across Vivek, who's a great founder, who came with a lot of passion, and we will hear from both Vivek and Satyam on this shortly. So we were very happy and excited to back Vivek when we got an opportunity.
Right. So, in fact, Bhargavi, we are just joined by Satyam.
Hi,
Hey,
Satyam.
Satyam, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Great, man. How's it going? Congratulations on the fundraise.
Thank you very much.
Right. So, we are just talking about the investment that we just made, and why Bhargavi thought it's important that we needed one more coding startup, right? But clearly explaining why it is not part of the pack, right? This is an outlier, out of the box idea and thought. Right? But Satyam, let me just put you on spot here for a second, right? This is not your first stint with starting up, right? So explain a little
Yeah.
bit about the background and the passion behind why you wanted to do this.
Okay. So basically, I have been teaching kids since my school days. So when I was in 11th grade, I used to teach younger kids, and while learning in college in IIT Dhanbad, I used to work with the various NGOs in college to teach them to get slum children into schools. And at that time also, I actually worked with many school kids to provide them computer literacy. I'm talking about 2005 to 2009, that time, because I thought that computer literacy is going to be very important, because as we enter into new era, industrial revolution 4.0, people should know how to operate computers. And in our times when we were in class 10th or 12, like, we didn't have computers, like, coming from a small town. But when I went to college, I understood that you need to have access to technology if you want to have much more exposure going on in life. So that's why. And after my stint with Reliance Power for 6 years, I decided to jump into education or edtech startup and like ecosystem. And since 5 years, I'm into edtech. I've taught. Uh, I've taught in international schools. I have developed curriculum for math, science, coding, and robotics for almost 40,000, more than 40,000 kids. And that's how, and then we were discussing with Vivek for over a year how to take this forward, because I was already teaching coding to kids and Vivek wanted to get into it. So we decided to do it together to build a more meaningful platform for teaching coding to kids. So it should not be just about a transactional model where a child is learning to code, but it should be more of a model where they are learning for a life, basically. So this is not something that you learn and you are able to give exam and you pass, and then next year you go to a different syllabus altogether. This is something that you learn today, and it is applicable to you for next 10, 15, 20 years to come.
Okay, hey Vivek, welcome, man. Good to see you again. So Vivek, I'm just donning, a special hat, okay, to commemorate the event, if you will.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Thanks for welcoming me here, and nice to see you too, Vinod. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Vivek. Thanks, Satyam, for joining.
Hey,
Excited
Vinod. Hey, Karthik.
to see you guys here. Yeah, I think Bhargavi is also on the line. Yeah, and I think what Satyam said, I think was phenomenal in some sense. But he just said, look, we're not doing this for transaction. We're doing something more than a transaction. We're doing this for kids and building a community, and really, helping people to learn new life skills, right? So Vivek, and I'll throw this, maybe question at you, right? You have a past, right, which is again, very interesting. Some in some sense, very checkered past, with the previous company, right out of college, right? How different that when you're doing this for the second time? What kind of learnings, are you taking into Codingal now? From your past, right, experience that you had. Again, it's a coding and assessment platform that you are building, right? And now with this focus, what kind of learnings, what does it cross your mind between the two?
Yes, so I think biggest learning from building Hacker Earth has been to how to focus on solving a problem and solving that very very well. How to assemble a great team right at the very beginning, and then how do we basically execute right from day one. All those learnings, I would say, we have been able to apply fairly well in the last 5 months of building Codingal, right from building the team to launching the product within 2 months and not delaying much, and then executing from there on, getting revenue from day one. All basically whatever we have been able to, we have had a decent, at least success in the last 5 months. A lot of that, I would say, goes back to the learning that I have had building Hacker Earth in the last 8 years. And the overall industry is also very similar. Even though targeting K-12 students, there we were targeting college students and beyond. A lot of concepts remain the same, because at the end of the day, we are teaching coding, computer science here to the K-12 students. And the primary reason to decide to build Codingal was also my realization in the last 5 years that software is not only eating, but it is changing the world. All of us know that every company that we know today has either been impacted by technology already or will be impacted by technology. It's important for kids to be aware of the world of technology around us, to learn computer science at a young age, and it has already been a very proven area of teaching at a school level in countries like US, where a K-12 computer science framework exists, which is a very standardized way to teach computer science. That is something that has been running through my mind for the last couple of years. And then, irrespective of what has been happening in this segment in the Indian ecosystem, specifically how this market has exploded in the last 1 year or so, despite that and irrespective of that, this problem is something which is close to our hearts, my heart, Satyam's heart, and we wanted to build a company around this together, where we can enable kids to fall in love with coding, and all the learnings and experiences from building HackerEarth, right from building a team to managing a team, growing a team, executing, like what kind of mistakes not to make. I would say all of that is coming very, very handy right now. I would say those 8 years have been the learning ground for building Codingle, the way I see it.
Awesome, Vivek. Vivek, I just want to double tap on one thing here, right? One of the things that happened, from the time that we, decided to make this investment, and you just build the team really fast, right? For example, Satyam, right? And that was like, some in a way surprised, but I also was like, very glad that you did that so fast. You reacted so fast, and you made the decisions really fast, right? I mean, what was that experience? Maybe Satyam should say, or you should talk about it. I was actually, man, this is like real fast in some sense. How you're moving ahead, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was the plan, because I realized that the first 12 months are probably the most crucial time in the journey of any startup. Either we get that momentum or we lose that momentum. And I really want to, like all the months and all the days and all the weeks and years are important, but I really believe the first every day what we do is probably more important than the 12 months after that. At least that is what today I believe in. And that is why and it has been like 5 months, so 5 out of those 12 months are gone. But yeah, I was very clear in the mind that we need to have a great team at the helm to be able to do something. And when I started speaking to you, obviously I was the single founder, but I was very clear in the mind that Satyam, is the right person to have, in the founding team, to have, and both of us, working together to be in partner in crime, to be, the co-founders, and then build the entire team, around both of us. Very glad that Satyam, basically came over, and he has made my life easy. So yeah, nothing else more to say about it. Yeah. Satyam, if you want to add anything, yeah.
So it's awesome. Just to our viewers, right? Satyam, came in, just after we just initially committed, and that was the kind of momentum that Vivek, and Satyam brought to the table immediately. It surprised us, and we are very glad, that team really fast. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
So basically, our visions aligned in terms of what we want to do with coding. So, as you know, like we were not inclined towards what is happening right now, and there is still a lot of way to go in especially in India, in terms of coding. So that's why it helped us coming together in a very short span of time.
That's awesome. We are happy, both of you are together. There's a lot more. Somebody's shoulder is always useful to rest on at times, right? So that's something that I believe in. So that's like awesome.
Yeah, without any doubt. Like I would like to add to this that nobody should start alone. Nobody should be a solo founder. Building a startup is hard in itself, and having a partner in crime, having someone to share all the problems with, having someone to take away part of the problems to solve, it's better than like not having a co-founder any day. I was very clear, even when I was speaking to you guys, and I think at the beginning of July, I was very clear in my mind that need to have a co-founder in the team. Otherwise, it would have been extremely hard. I'm sure we would not have been able to do what we have been able to do if Satyam was not here in the team. So all kudos to him.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
Vivek, I have a question for you, man. This is your second time, raising funds, right? Was it easier for you this time around, or were there any learnings that you were able to apply from previous times, so it made it a little bit easier for you? Any thoughts on that?
Yes, honestly, a bit easier, but also I would say one of the reason was like a lot of time, when we are starting first time, we don't even really know how to create a good pitch deck, how to speak to investors, how to really boil down the problem, how a great or even a, like a well written deck, how do I do market sizing, not down, bottoms up, the kind of general answers that investors are looking for. And if I probably like look at my version 8 years ago, and if I was probably talking about Codingle itself, it would be extremely different from how the version of 2020 looks like. I think that is one thing which makes it a little harder for even investors to evaluate a lot of times. Even if there is a good idea, if founders are not able to probably like do a good job of explaining it. And that is why I have also seen in a lot of accelerator programs, a lot of focus in the early days is just on refining the deck, what founders are saying, how they're pitching. And I'm just glad that I just went through that learning process. And also, before probably like I even reached out to, all of you, this is a problem that I had sort of like really dived into for the at least for a year. There was a higher obviously degree of confidence and good amount of research behind the entire industry. But yes, like no doubt, having done a startup, all that learning came together, and at the same time, it did made a bit easy. And obviously, like thanks to you guys to make it easy for me. Yeah.
Vivek, I think you're explaining about how Satyam came on board a little bit later after we committed, right?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I know Satyam more from his LinkedIn profile than in person, looking at him, right? This is a very odd year that we are living in, right? 2020. I hope it comes to an end real quick. But Satyam, you have a more of an offline sort of a pedigree, right? Because you're directly in touch with the students, you're teaching to them directly. So, what do you think really works well offline that is very difficult to adopt online?
It's a really difficult question to answer at present because I don't see like right now with the right kind of technology, blended learning works really well in an online space as well. So, like personally, I have been teaching offline as well prior to March 2020, and post March 2020, I have been teaching online as well. And I have not seen much difference in terms of learning journey of the kids. They are still learning the same way, and at times it has been better online. Why? Because we get a lot of time not traveling and then sitting for 1 hour and just learning, rather than worrying about we have to travel for half an hour and go to some place and then learn. So I think it has been easier a lot, and most of the things are available online. So if we have all the content available all online, so it's been I don't see any much difference happening, and in fact, I see a better learning happening online.
Got it. And Vivek, how do you position Codingle differently, right? Because when nowadays, people have a lot of choices, right? They can go to you, they can go to one of your competitors. There are quite a few, right? So, what is that one or two things that really set Codingle apart?
Yeah, so to be able to answer this question, we have to really understand what is the core of a company like Codingle, and this is also a generic answer which probably like applies to most of their tech company. There are usually three pillars. What we teach is what parents are looking for. Who teaches them is the second thing which parents look for, and how we teach, how things, and then all of integrated together by uh, the best in class product, which brings everything as seamlessly together as possible. So which is the basically the fourth is the product experience. The most important thing in this specifically segment of teaching coding is who are teaching coding, because coding relatively is a new field, and that too in India. Have a lot of really great computer science teachers to teach at the K-12 level, and then hiring high quality teachers remains a challenge. But what we have done is we have ensured that all our teachers have computer science background, and they have programming background, and we want to obviously like keep it that way. So that is one very extremely big differentiator when it comes to Codingle, which is all the teachers are all-star computer science teachers. Curriculum, they actually invested a bit of research, and we came up with a model, and in fact Satyam had a lot of good work in that behind the scenes, where the curriculum is based on BIDE model and Bloom's taxonomy, and which basically ensures that the curriculum basically covers different parameters like logical thinking and cognitive thinking, computational skills, which ensures that kids have a extremely good learning path where they are always engaged, and where the product also basically adds a lot of gamification. At the same time, the entire curriculum itself is customizable, which means that if a kid already knows something, that module can be basically just swapped out with something else. So entire curriculum has been kept like extremely customizable, and a bit of scientific, you can say, work also done behind the scenes to ensure that kids are always engaged. In fact, the rating for teachers on our platform is 4.6 out of 5 so far, and for the curriculum is about 4.8 out of 5 so far. So these are the two primary differentiators, and then a great product behind the scenes, because everything is online, teaching is online, learning is online. The best in class product basically glues everything together, but yes, from a parent's point of view, it is primarily the teachers and the curriculum that we have.
Great, Vivek, I will just take on from what you just told, right? I just want to know what next for Codingle, or where do you see Codingle? Because this has been a great start, and I think we did get a small glimpse of that when we had our different conversations. But yeah, it will be good to know from you. So where do you see Codingle? What next? What else can we expect?
Yeah, so overall, the goal from the day one has been that can we build a large enough community of school kids where they are learning from each other, where they are getting inspired to learn coding, even if they are stuck, where they get guided learning. And one of the initiatives that we have done, and it's again a very product-led initiative, is running different sort of competitions and hackathons in the K-12 segment. For that, we have already started partnering with some IITs and the schools, and we would also be partnering with some good companies for which there would be competitions that we would be launching, which would be in partnership with again those colleges, the schools, and the companies, and that can be a great way to build a community, get kids interested to learn coding, and also monetize a part of them, if a few percentage of them, by giving them guided live one-on-one classes. So that's the overall model at which we are like looking to build everything, a flywheel sort of engine where kids are they are liking coding, they're falling in love with coding, and there are great teachers augmented by great curriculum, and parents are basically delighted from that. That's the sort of flywheel that we are looking to create. I would say some parts of that flywheel are already in place. So a few things have started in. And overall, we just want to be known as a company which is the most authentic, the best platform for learning coding, the go-to platform for learning coding for school kids. At the end of the day, that is what we want to become. Where if someone thinks about coding, they think about Codingle. And coding with Codingle, coding and Codingle should become synonymous with each other. So yeah, that is what we obviously aim for and hope for to happen in the near future.
That's
Hey,
a
Vivek.
great vision. Yeah.
So Vivek, this is a freewheeling session, right? You have the option of asking Bhargavi or any of those questions also, right? I mean, unlike most sessions, where we are asking questions, you can ask Bhargavi, anything that you wish, put her on the spot, or Karthik for that matter. Any one of us, you could ask a question. I know it's Bhargavi, so I'm like, more than excited now to see that happening.
I'm sure Satyam would have some question. Yeah.
Why are you nudging him so much?
It's a freewheeling session, right? So I think I mean, it should be really freewheeling, Vivek. You should put anybody on the spot, yeah, and especially Bhargavi, yeah.
So I would like to ask one question. So obviously, so how has been your experience, Bhargavi, with Codingle as a parent?
So
Hey,
for
that's a
people,
softball question, okay? That doesn't count.
You know what? I know Bhargavi is working with you guys. She was with your competitor. Just realize I'm putting this.
yeah. So if you go back to our earliest freewheeling sessions and all that, so I would have told who my son was taking coding classes with initially, and I think that way. Me and Satyam, we keep exchanging notes sometimes as well. So for viewers, my son takes coding classes from Codingle currently. I think one thing I'll tell you what I like is the way your trainer tells a kid in terms of it's not just pick this block from here, drop this here, or do this, do that, right? The way the teacher has engaged with the kid on a personal level or made it a really fun class in terms of giving a background or giving a scenario on why we are doing it. I have seen it in the other platforms as well, right? They would probably give a scenario, but it is probably part of text which they have, they read it out. But here, the teacher with whom my son is engaged with, she doesn't do it just because it's there in a text. And sometimes when he's not concentrating, she knows how to bring it back in a very playful way. So I think that way, as you said, right, the two pillars, which is on curriculum and second is on trainers. I think as of now, whatever I could see as a parent, my experience on the trainer has been pretty good. So curriculum, we all know, right? The moat on the curriculum currently is probably not going to be there across the platforms. I know you guys are building a huge moat on the curriculum, which is probably something we will see in coming months. But currently, I think the biggest moat is the quality of trainers, which you were able to handpick probably. I think that is very good, pretty good as a parent.
Thank you, Bhargavi.
Thank you.
Yeah, with respect to the curriculum, also one of the things that we would start investing in very near future is having a lot of activities, built into the product itself, so that we remove our dependency on third-party platforms as we go forward. So that is something that would be the next step that we would start doing in the curriculum in very near future.
Yeah, I was not sure if I can tell that. Good.
Yeah.
So, Vivek, are you ready for Series A? It's great what you're doing. We really love what you're doing. So,
Jeez, let them breathe.
I'm sure
Vivek, I told you.
so many VCs are seeing. So, are you ready for Series A?
Founders are always raising fund. Every day I'm thinking I need I need to raise, and I think that will away. My
See, Satyam, you asked.
Significantly, starting July. Probably the day I spoke to you, Bhargavi, from that day I have stopped sleeping. But I'm just kidding. But obviously, like take
Hey, very that's a bad reputation now. People speak to you or us, and now people don't sleep then.
So,
I'm just
in
kidding. It's
short,
obviously
the
not very bad.
takeaway is, in short, the takeaway is Coding Girl is ready for Series A, and you can write to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, obviously, on a serious note, obviously, like given we have been able to establish a product market, been able to build a team and grow some revenue organically, whatever we have been able to grow in actually 3 months, and even getting the revenue on the first day of the launch, that was a big like sense of validation for all of us. And whatever like seed round we raised, you can say that we have been able to at least like meet a part of the purpose because of which companies usually raise seed round, and we would obviously like to scale much faster from here on. At least target like 10% week on week growth in terms of revenue, which usually exceptional companies do. And that's the sort of predictability we want to like get very extremely soon, and we are ramping up everything even starting this month, whether it is the marketing spend, whether it is the revenue projections that we have, obviously while keeping the burn either same or reduce it over the time, but that will require more capital to be raised in the near future. And I would say it's just a matter of time, when we raise the next capital. If a good investor comes along the way, then I don't think strategically we are going to wait any longer. If if some good offers come along the way, we would go ahead and raise the next round.
great. One more question, final question from my side. Are you looking for any talent to join you, and what sort of people are you looking for to join both of you in your journey?
Yes, so we hired the VP of marketing, so that's sorted. In the near future, there are at least like two very key hires we would want to make. One would be a director of sales, and second would be a director of engineering in the team. That is something that we would target to close in the next couple of months. And if you or anybody who is watching this, if you have any good references, please feel free to pass that on. Yeah.
Great. I have one last question for you guys. So, how was your experience has been with us? The whole process, right? Pitching, raising funds, and other things.
So probably I can answer the first part, and then Satyam can answer the second part of the question, which is the other things.
Sure.
So yes, it was I would say very relatively still easy, very interactive. I think we did at least like a couple of times, and I enjoyed all the conversations I had. And I really like that, to be very honest, that all of you are, friendly in a way, very approachable. I can, call all of you anytime, and so helpful for startups at an earlier stage. Not like just, praising for the sake of praising, but yes, I really like the fact that on our cap table and working like so closely with us, whether it is doing PR helping with PR for the fundraise, or like giving tactical advices, giving suggestions, feedback. In fact, Bhargavi gave us some feedback regarding the sales process early, like I think just when we had launched, and that was actually very huge, helpful for us that on the ground. So really like the part that that Karthik, Bhargavi, all of you are like extremely approachable, friendly, and I really do not have any hesitation to discuss about anything. So that has been my experience, but obviously I think you should hear it from Satyam too.
So for me, like it has been, I've connected with Bhargavi, so she has been giving me regular feedbacks about various things, experiences that she's having, and obviously sales was a major part, and it helped us in a way to streamline a sales process at the start, and we got some good inflow of cash coming in just because of changing that, and a little change in perception as well, and that actually helped us, and it has been good till now.
Great to hear that, both of you.
Thanks, Karthik, for the nice question you did. And
That was not a planted question, okay? I came up with it on the fly.
Yeah, nothing was planted, and I'm sorry. Actually, I rushed into this live streaming at the very last moment, not at my usual place, and on a like mobile data connection. So we have to manage with what it is. Yeah.
No, that's great that both of you took the time out and
Yeah.
join us. One final question for Satyam, because I know you are shouldering large part on operations. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. So how did you hit the ground running?
uh, so basically we had like a can you rephrase the question once more so I can
So, in a sense, I think you just started going from the word go, right? I know
yeah.
you had something running and probably it helped you, but this is just completely a total new setup, and you had to probably unlearn and learn a lot of things on the fly. So I think it will be good for many young entrepreneurs to hear about how to do that in a because it's actually a little bit of operations heavy because your funnel involves a lot of personal interactions, right? So I thought it would be good to hear.
So basically as we started, we had a team already in place, but with starting of Codingle, it was more on the tech side that we wanted to create, and with minimal touch model, and more into a process where kids and parents are really go with the flow rather than we have lots of human touch. So when I interacted with Vivek told me that okay, these have to be done and all these things. So it took almost I think 2-3 weeks, Vivek, so to streamline all these things. And I think I have been into operations all my life, so I have done lots of last 10 years. So obviously bootstrapping the business earlier for 3 years, and then before that working with Reliance. So operations has been my forte, and mostly understanding the needs of the business and then aligning a team. So that is what is required. So you should know what you want at the end, basically. Okay, what do you want as a result? Once you know that this is the result that you want, so then you can do some backward calculation, and will be able to do the right things. And obviously there are a lot of times you anticipate that those are the right things that you do, but many things will go wrong sometimes. But most of the time, if you do some backward calculations and some planning, I think most of the things fall in place, and which has worked for us in some way.
Satyam, thanks for that. I think we are just joined by our fourth partner at Java Capital. Right? So I'm going to ask a question on his behalf. One last question, right? Vivek, how did you find Satyam, or did Satyam find you?
Yeah, so we had known each other for some time, and then when we started Codingle, I knew Satyam, what was Satyam up to, and it basically made all the sense to basically do Codingle together. I think it was more of a matter of time when rather than if. It took some time to for us to like basically discuss it out and be like clear also the different sort of roles that we can basically play in building the company, because when two people come together as a co-founder, I think that discussion is also extremely important, And it said that, may sound very cheesy, but it said that, being co-founders is actually a lot like marriage. So it just needs to be not talked out that, what kind of roles and responsibilities we would play in building the company, what one person can handle, what complementary things the other person can handle. How do we, like build a company together, even if, there are disagreements? How do we respect each other? The great thing has been that, both of us have been able to work extremely well together. We have, obviously, there like, disagreements are bound to happen, agreements happen. We do things, but at the end of the day, we do things together. But yeah, again, coming back to the question, I think it took like entire August or maybe less than that, to, basically bring Satyam on board, and we just discussed the potential of building a company together, rather than, well, like doing it individually. I think that was basically the center point of discussion, and what both of us together can achieve. And when it was very clear to both of us, we basically just started working on it together. By the end of August, I think Satyam had already spent like working with us for 2 weeks, and it didn't like, I don't think we did any sort of like a special thing to basically to be able to work together. We just like things just like naturally flowed, and I don't think we even now think that, okay, a situation like that was there where we were discussing, that we have to work together as a co-founder. So I think a lot of times such relationships in a way are very natural. If it very naturally happens very seamlessly, where you don't feel like you are forcing yourself into going to that agreement, then I think that has the best outcome, that has the best output. And I'm very glad that that happened in the case of Codingle. And founding team is anyway extremely important. Having that trust, respect, and that common vision and values together. And so really fortunate and really glad that we were able to do that.
Maybe a little bit of serendipity.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I know, Vivek, you're in some remote place, and we still arm twisted you to join us today. So
No
thanks
worries
for
at all.
taking time and joining us. We wish you all the very best. We are so excited for the ride with you guys. Can't wait for good things to happen to you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It has been pleasure having you, on the cap table of Codingle and working with all of you. I'm sure this would be a great, journey and relationship together going forward.
Great.
And-
Great,
Thank
yeah.
you.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
definitely meet offline someday.
Definitely.
Yes.
We're planning something.
So the funny thing is, which I want to mention to everyone if they are not watching, that I and Satyam have not met in person, any of you. In fact,
Yeah.
in fact, I called Bhargavi. I'm not sure if you are aware, Vinod and Karthik. I called Bhargavi to, when we closed the round, and my plan was to like buy a bottle of champagne or sweets. I don't know which one you like or which one you eat, and basically get all of you at Bhargavi's place, and then meet all of you. But then Bhargavi said that she's quarantined for 2 weeks.
Vivek, you know what? You don't call Bhargavi. That's all. Next time, call me. Have the snacks. Bhargavi will not come. For she's quarantined. Like, I told let's meet. Now she's not coming. So you call me. I'll come. Definitely, I'll come.
Yeah,
Let's meet next weekend.
in the offing, count us in.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thanks a
Great,
lot.
great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you very
Bye.
much
Bye.
for the time. Thank you. Bye.
Oh God, fantastic people, right? I mean, just amazing.
Yeah. And I just missed out on champagne because of Bhargavi now. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna have to make up for it. Okay, send us a bottle of champagne each.
Totally. I'm just
Tandoori.
going to call 3 portfolio founders and ask them to send one each.
I can sense, one lot, big party is missing, which,
Long overdue. Long overdue.
Yeah. Let's hope
Well,
to do
we
it.
still have some time to go for our anniversary, so maybe by that time, hopefully, some sense of normalcy will return to
Yeah,
the world.
it better return by then.
See, Bhargavi will not come out without vaccine, Karthik. So it's
Yeah,
like
I know.
you'll have to get Pfizer in here, like minus
Yeah.
20 degrees.
But you are welcome home.
Or you know what, this WhatsApp is
You
going
know where I live, so we can do a party here. I have enough space.
the same. Yeah, I mean, I just feel, yeah, okay, maybe that works. Or, the WhatsApp message that's going on Bhargavi is, you can go to the US, it's called vaccine tourism. They'll take you to the US and give you Pfizer vaccine. So you take it first, that's like potentially possible. Yeah.
Great. Okay, I think we can't beat whatever we talked now of the last 40-minute conversation. So I think that's a wrap from us.
That's a wrap?
With
No. I did not so
what
easy.
got a right?
Real quick, right? Like 10
See,
seconds.
I was
Anything.
totally blighted by Java Capital this week. Okay, when
Okay.
you have two announcements, what
Back to
others?
back. Yeah.
Yeah, frankly, Karthik, nothing caught my eye, man. This week's been about Kodingal and E-Plane in the morning, that just caught my sleep also, right?
Nice. Great. On that positive note, we'll end it here. The
Yeah.
only thing that caught my eye, I think you guys should check it out as well if you haven't already, was the spin-off of PhonePe, right? I mean, this is long overdue. Everybody in the market is thinking about it, so it's an interesting development. And I think hopefully we'll have another announcement to make real soon.
Okay.
Right? It's I will at least swear to you that it won't be 3 months. At least I hope that
Yeah,
it won't be 3
I
months
think
from today.
people just really try to make it before New Year. Let's see.
New Year's, yeah, we'll see. Let's see if we can get lucky, right?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Have a great weekend ahead.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Guys, everybody. See you.
All right. Bye bye.